and welcome back. I'm here today with Tisma, a lovely 10-year-old Hanoverian mare. Today is part 2 of how to take a template of your horse's back. So sit back, make yourselves a cup of tea and hopefully enjoy. I'm here today with Tisma. She's a 10-year-old Hanoverian mare and it's a very, very cold winter's day in the UK. And we're going to show you how to do a template of your horse. So why would you need a template of your horse? Well, sometimes people like to take templates of their horse just to keep a record of their shape. Now the things that you will need to take a template are an A3 pad of paper, a flexi curve. So these are the ones here that I use. I'll pop a link below in the description to show you where to get them, but I use these. They're brilliant, they're much better than the cheaper ones, and I use the 60cm version. See? And you will also need a pen. Top tip: when you get your flexi curve out, it's a good idea to find the middle. And if you pop a little mark on there where the middle is, so that little mark on the middle tells you where the middle is. I also like to mark left and right on it, so that when we lay it on the bit of paper, we know which is the left and which is the right. So first things first is, where do we take the first template from? Well, the important thing to do is to be able to find the back of your horse's scapula. So the scapula is basically like a shoulder blade, like our shoulder blade, and your horse has a scapula here, and as your horse moves, their scapula moves. So we need to make sure that when we fit the saddle to a horse, that we're fitting it behind the scapula, so we're not interfering with the scapula. And because of that, we take our first measurement from about 2 inches, or about, in my case, about 3 fingers width behind the back of the scapula. Now I've got quite small hands, so if you had really big fat fingers, it might be more like 2 fingers, but it's about 2 inches behind the back of the scapula. So you feel for the back of the scapula. Now at this point, 3 fingers behind the back of the scapula is known as the T8, and that is the 8th thoracic vertebrae. Now we always say about 2 inches and around the T8, because you don't really know for 100% for sure, because all horses are put together a little bit differently and everyone's fingers are different sizes, etc, etc. So one person's template might not quite match up to the next person's template, and that doesn't mean that one person is right and the other person is wrong. It just means that we take them from slightly different places, because for example our fingers are slightly wider or slightly narrower. So the important thing is consistency. If you are taking regular templates of your horse, then you need to make sure that you take them in the same place every time. And then when your saddle fitter comes along and they take their templates, yours might not always quite match up, but you'll still be able to see the difference in your templates if there's a change in the horse, as long as you're taking them from the same place each time. First one we take at T8, about 3 fingers, 2 inches behind the back of the scapula. We make sure we put it on nice and smoothly, smooth it down into their back. We go around the other side and we do the same on the other side. Here we have our first template. Then we get our A3 pad of paper and we draw a line straight down the middle. Getting our template that we've taken from T8, we make sure we look at the left and the right. Put the left on the left hand side, the right on the right hand side, obviously. And we match up the little line with the middle. We pop it down on our bit of paper and we very carefully draw around the inside of the line. Then we mark it on here with T8 and then today's date. So then the date. If you want to remember what horse it is, you can put the horse's name up here. Second template we take from a place called T10, which is the 10th thoracic vertebrae. So about 2 vertebrae behind the 8th thoracic vertebrae. And we work that out by another 3 fingers back. So we did our first one here. Our first one here, which is 3 fingers behind the back of the scapula. Our second one we're going to take from here. which is the 10th thoracic vertebrae. And we do the same thing. We push it in nice and evenly, we go around the other side and we push it in nice and evenly there, making sure it's nice and smooth. There we have a 10th thoracic vertebrae. And we bring our next template and we lay it down, again the same, left, right, in the middle, and we carefully mark out and mark on here T10. And then again, if you like, you can put the date. Next template we take is the T18, and that is the 18th thoracic vertebrae, and that's also their last rib. Some horses, like Tissima here, are quite well covered. They've got quite a good covering of that over their ribs, and they can be quite difficult to find their ribs. So in that case, what we do is we feel for the top of their ribs by palpating, and palpating means poking with your fingers really. We palpate along the top of their rib shelf here until we get to the end where we feel it drop off. So you can see her rib here, drop off away here. This here is her last rib, so we draw a line up, and that there is the point at which we take the final template. We check for left and right, and we do the same. We push it down nice and smooth, we nip round the other side and do the same round the other side. And this is her T18 template. And then finally our T18, again in the same way, left, right, pop it on the page, carefully draw your line. And this one is T18, and then the date. So then we've got our horse's record of T8, T10, T18 that we can keep. Now remember, this is just for your usage, because where you take the template isn't necessarily the exact same place as where your saddle fitter takes the template. So but this is a really good sort of thing to keep for your own records, because you might come along a few weeks later and measure your horse, and you might put your T8 alongside and be like, oh my gosh, look at the difference here. Or you might have a horse with some atrophy, for example, on one side. So if your horse has got some atrophy, this is exaggerated obviously, but if it's got some atrophy on one side, you can mark that, and then you can keep an eye on it as it starts to muscle out and become a little bit more normal shaped. So there we have it, A3 paper, pen, flexi curve. I use these ones. I'll pop a link to them in the description below, and then you're good to go. If you're interested in saddle fitting or saddles or horses or tack, then please make sure you check out all the other videos on my channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's YouTube. You have a YouTube channel? Yes. Oh, no way. You're now officially in it. Oh, I'm sorry. Say hi. I'll get Johnny to subscribe. Take care. See you later. So if you're interested in anything horsey, saddles related at all, then don't forget to check out all my other videos on my channel. In the meantime, from me and Tissima, take care, stay safe, lots and lots of love.